Welcome to the Into the 99 podcast, where we got 99 cards because Commander's number one. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Necro Zach, and joined as always is the guy who gives full candy bars on Halloween, Brian.
It is Brian, yep.
I wish I had the money to give out full chocolate bars.
Her royalty herself, the queen of counters, Hope.
What's up, y'all?
And the man with the biggest arms in all of Canada, Dan.
How's it going, guys?
Bench pressing the moose.
I just love the song Spooky Scary Skeleton song. All right, but enough of that. Into the episode. Hope was enjoying it.
I wish it was Into the Spooky Scary Skeletons. New podcast idea. Thanks, guys, for being here for our journey.
Happy
Join us
Halloween,
on
guys.
Patreon.
Yeah, everyone who's not on Patreon, you'll get it the day after Halloween.
Yeah.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah.
Join up. Woo! But anyways, today we're doing a Halloween-themed deck. Zach made one. Zach, walk us through the theme of the deck here.
Yeah, hit us, Zach.
My favorite author in all of everything forever is Stephen King. So today we're doing a deck based around his book It, with the main creature being Pennywise. If you've never read the book or watched the movies, Pennywise is basically this intergalactic creature that lands in this town and eats children, and basically becomes the fears of each child that he ends up eating.
For me, it's just a deck with 36 lands.
Yeah, that's such a big
That's my
one.
fear, Zach.
I like that Zach's like, if you guys have never seen it, and I'm just like, I am terrified of everything. So
Hope's afraid of the dark.
I'm not afraid of the dark. I don't like.
I don't like it, and I scream.
I have to run up the stairs when I turn the lights off still, but who doesn't do that? Who doesn't do that?
I could see it coming out of the closet as a shark for Hope.
Oh my god.
How's there a shark on land? Get out of here.
I can't handle that.
So our commander for the deck is going to be Lazav, the multifarious, blue and a black legendary creature shapeshifter, 1/3. When Lazav, the multifarious, enters the battlefield, you surveil 1. And then you can pay X. Lazav, the multifarious, becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with the CMC X, except its name is Lazav the multifarious. It's a legendary in addition to its other types, and it still has this ability. So the whole theme of the deck is basically we're doing a graveyard toolbox deck. So we're going to want to have Lazav out as soon as possible and fill our graveyard full of different nightmare fuel.
For anyone who doesn't know, Surveil is just the new edited version of Scry. You look at the top, and you can either leave it up top or pitch it to graveyard.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. It's a very good effect in these kind of decks. I actually think it's a really cool twist on the Scry mechanic in general, to be honest.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly. It's just good in black.
Well, just a different
It's
tool.
Scry, but better in black.
Well, and with Lazav shape-shifting, as Zach was saying, the ability for it just to basically try and grab you something off the bat. Like, you can get a huge creature sitting there in the grave just in the first go-around of it.
I mean, you still need down the mana.
Yeah.
But
you can still get a huge creature, Hope.
pretty sweet. Pretty neat.
So what's really cool about this ability is any of the ETB effects that you would get from normally casting creatures, you're not going to get them from Lazav if you copy them from the graveyard. It's just going to come in as a creature with whatever static ability, so no ETBs. So we're running some creatures that would normally be pretty bad to play because they have a very large downside for actually casting them. But because we're not actually casting them, they are just becoming a copy. We're getting like a 7/7 for 3 or 7/7 for 2.
So
or
cards that would typically not be so great
Yeah,
would actually be good in
these
this.
cards are bad.
Ones that have like a big downside.
Yeah.
I love looking through it already. So let's start already with the Nightmare Fuel, Zach.
The fuel.
Okay. Just to keep with the theme of nightmares, I'm running 2 versions of Ashiok Nightmare Muse and Ashiok Nightmare Weaver. You don't necessarily need to run those. Those are more just for theme. So I kind of want to skip over those 2 and go into actual creatures because that's what we're really going to be doing.
Those are just for flavor.
Mm-hmm. So the first card I want to talk about is Cephalid Constable. It's 1 blue for a creature, Cephalid Wizard, 1/1. Whenever Cephalid Constable deals combat damage to a player, return up to that many target permanents that that player controls to their owner's hands.
That's pretty dope.
It's built-in flat-out removal and the ability to decks like this generally run a lot of ways to sneak that damage in, and then you change it. It's a combat tricks deck without combat tricks.
I like the flavor text on that one.
They police loyalties.
Cephalids don't police people; they police loyalties.
It's a pretty cool one, yeah.
Dang.
And something.
Oh, go ahead.
Something we should kind of talk about too is what's kind of fun about this deck is, like Dan said, it's a combat tricks deck without combat tricks. So we're going to be doing a lot of shape shifting during different stages of like attack and declare blockers and before damage is actually dealt. So there's gonna, if you like dealing with kind of like, yeah, this is going to be a deck that I think people are really like, those type of people will really like.
Hope does like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I do like some nonsense.
Well, it is really fun to sneak in, and a lot of people, a lot of times, you're going to notice that people are not looking in your graveyard.
Yep.
A lot of times, how many cards in hand, but most people aren't going through your graveyard, especially when you're self-milling. In my Neoplasm, for instance, I self-mill all the time. I'll traumatize myself and throw half in the graveyard, and everyone's like, all right, cool. And I'm like,
Meoplasm.
Yeah, unless there's someone that's like looking to actively remove stuff, like what is it, the ooze, that
scavenging ooze or something. I have so many people. Like I said, I'll be running a self-mill thing in Muldrotha. Even I'll like just put 10 cards in my grave, and everyone's like, all right, cool. I'm like,
love it.
Like,
I do the same thing. I throw stuff in Marin, and everyone's just like, nice.
Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, that works out. I'm like, all right.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, I'm happy I don't have to worry about that. Yeah.
I'm out here surveilling too, and I'm just like, bliss.
Daniel, you can't leave Ulamog in there, but I want to. I want to so bad.
I want it so hard.
All praises to Papa Ooze.
Yeah.
To Poos.
Papa Ooze. So as Zach was saying, there's a lot of a lot of just tricks to get in. So it looks like you've built in a bunch of protection in your commander in the shapeshifting as well. The next one we have on the list is Cephalid Ink Shrouder. It's 2 and a blue. The other thing as well, the nice thing about Lazav, before I even get into this, is you don't have to worry about the color for these cards. You just pay the X where X is their cost. That brings them back. So you don't have to, if you have something...
You have to have mana. You don't need to have like the right mana.
Yeah. So if you have something that is like a 4 black, for instance, like something way down on the list, you don't have to worry about that. You can just pay 4 of anything, and it really helps you get around a lot of things. You don't have to worry as much how you tap out and around, and can focus more on the tricky plays. But the next one on the list, like I was saying, Cephalid Ink Shrouder, it's 2 and a blue. It has discard a card from your hand, which in this deck, no downside to it because you're still trying to get what you want. Can't be the target of spells or abilities, and is unblockable this turn.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
Very big bonk.
Are you trying to bonk with commander damage, Zach?
You easily can. Easily.
Because what he turns into is still Lazav. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of the best things about Lazav is that he keeps his name.
Mm-hmm.
So you can also recur the thing that you copy.
Well, you can also copy legendaries as well, because if you have like a way to... not that you could reanimate Phage, for instance, but if you, for some reason, had like a Phage out in the grave, you could make a Phage.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, because you're not casting it, so it doesn't...
Jacob likes to do people dirty with that Phage.
Yeah. But yeah, it's stuff like that. Like, it's... Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can recur the thing that you copy, right?
Yeah.
But you not, and then, yeah, since it has a different name in legend.
And the other thing that's nice...
The limit does not exist.
The other thing is it doesn't exile these, right? So you can just flicker back and forth between these for whatever kind of answer.
And it doesn't actually remove, they still stay engraved. So as long, like, you can just...
If someone exiles the card that you have targeted...
You've already made a copy.
Oh, okay. So that doesn't stop you. I'm going to call dibs on this next one, because this is one of my favorite blue-black cards.
Oh, sorry to say, if you exile it in response to Lazav's ability...
Yeah.
Then it wouldn't have a target.
No, sorry. I'm thinking like if he was already that.
Oh yeah.
No,
get
rid of it.
It already.
Yeah. Then you're just stuck being like, oh, I don't like this.
So one of my favorite cards, Consuming Aberration, 3 blue-black. Consuming Aberration's power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your opponent's graveyards. Whenever you cast a spell, each opponent reveals cards from the top of his or her library into a land card, then puts all those cards into their graveyard.
Just they mill that many. It's
brutal.
Pretty dope. It is pretty tight.
favorite?
I have to say it, Zach. Is this why you run so many lands?
So
But
it is target opponent. It's opponents, Zach. You don't have to worry about that.
It's so funny. Every
Oh,
time
yeah.
we start an episode and I look at Zach's deck list, we build so different. I build a lot of competitive stuff. So I have 28 and 29 lands in so many decks. I do not play it safe.
I like a smooth 33. That's what I like.
Yeah, I like in between. Probably like 32 to 36, all depending upon the type of deck.
Big mood.
Mhm.
as I've been hanging out with you guys more, I had a strict rule of 38 lands, and then it dropped to 37. Now I'm at 36 in most of my decks.
So-
We're slowly wearing him
Get
down.
it down to 26.
Peer pressure. It works, kids.
I tried running 21 lands and it just didn't work for some reason.
Anyways, the next card is actually the one that I was talking about with me surveilling in my other deck. So it's
Doom!
Doom Whisper. So it's 3 and 2 black for 6/6 demon. Flying trample, pay 2 life, surveil 2. So you get to pitch 2 scry / pitch 2 cards to your graveyard, pay 2 life.
You missed the nightmare there. It's a nightmare demon.
Sorry, it's on theme. It's on theme.
Nightmare
It's on
fuel.
theme. It's on theme.
I honestly love that card. It's very, very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it before.
I
Oh my
cracked
gosh.
2.
Guild of Ravnica, doggy.
Zach, I cracked 2 in one pack in a pre-release, and it was dope.
Oh my god.
Guess what
It's-
color I played?
Yeah. It's the closest imitation that we get to Grizzlebrand, and I love Papa Grizzlebrand.
Ah,
So
me
much.
too.
Unban it. Free him. Free him from the Hell Vault.
Yeah.
Oh, Zach,
Uh,
this next one. Holy moly.
Yeah, I'm going to read it. This is Eater of Days. It's a 4-cost artifact creature, Leviathan, 9/8, with flying and trample. And when it comes into play, you skip your next 2 turns. But
You
guess
don't
what?
do that.
Exactly.
I've-
So with Lazav, as long as that's in your graveyard, I'm going
It's
to
just
pay
a flying
4.
trample 9/8 for 4, doggy.
Right?
I have one of
Yep.
those in my
Kenrith?
deck on the table there, Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, Kenrith, skip my turns.
Oh.
Yeah. So fun.
So these next 2 cards are going to look really awkward, but like I said, so I built this deck centered around it. So it takes like a ton of different forms in the book and in the movies, and one of the forms it takes is this giant eyeball. So I had to
why?
add,
Watch the movie, Hope.
No.
read the book.
I'm scared. No.
So
Hope is
I
spooked.
I put some eyeballs in here. So we have Evil Eye of Orms by Gore. It's 4 and a black for a horror. 3/6.
Sorry. Orms by Gore sounds like some sort of new venture by Al Gore.
Yeah. Evil
Orms.
Eye of Orms.
Orms
By Gore.
By Gore. it's like a fragrance. Evil Eye of Orms.
By Gore.
So we get some evasion with it being can't be blocked except by walls. So only walls can block Lazav when he becomes Evil Eye of Orms by Gore. And creatures you control can't attack.
Except
for-
Evil Eye of Orms. By Gore.
By Gore.
So whenever I try to do like these heroic intervention style decks, I try to make them as playable as possible while still on theme. So this was kind of janky, but still worked.
I stand.
Um,
I'm into it. I still think that it has every right to be in this deck.
I'm looking at the next one here. Evil Eye of Urborg.
By Gore.
Not by this one's not by Gore. Different brand. It's an eye
Off-brand.
creature. It's 4 and a black for a 6/3. Non-eye creatures you control can't attack. Whenever
Every creature.
whenever Evil Eye of Urborg becomes blocked by a creature, destroy that creature.
Yo. That sounds awful.
The Gorgon gaze.
amazing.
Brr.
So at worst case, like if you play this guy, I don't think it really feels bad because it's a good attacker, it's a good blocker anyways. But even if someone decides to, if you just want to get a pesky creature off of the field, they're either going to take 6 commander damage or they're going to lose a creature.
Yeah, which both of those things are good for you.
Six
You're
is
just a happy
a
boy.
lot of commander damage to just eat.
That's a lot of damage.
That is a lot of
Or
damage.
it buys you a round of not being attacked.
Not the way I play.
No.
You take 6 damage, you're doing it again next turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fear my commander damage.
All hail the Eye of Urborg.
By
Evil
Gore.
Twins, the next one on the list. It's 2 and Demir. For a shapeshifter, you can have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it gains pay 1 blue, 1 black, tap, destroy target creature with the same name as this creature.
which is kind of dope.
Interesting.
That's hilarious. So you can make it a copy of somebody else's thing.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
kill
And
it. And kill it.
You can make another Lazav as well.
Yeah.
Because it has a different name.
Mood.
So this is one of my favorite cards out of M21.
Oh, no, it
It's
doesn't have a
Ghostly-
different name. I'm bad at reading.
Yeah, idiot.
Go ahead, Zach.
It's Ghostly Pilfer. It's 1 and a blue for a Spirit Rogue 2/1. Whenever it becomes untapped, you can pay 2. If you do, draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts a spell from anywhere other than the hand, draw a card. And you can discard a card, and it can't be blocked this turn.
I need to get this guy.
Yeah, it's a cool one.
I need
Yeah,
him
well,
for
that-
Anawan.
Spirit
Yeah.
Rogue.
Yeah. That is super solid. Like, the discard is awesome. The extra draw, because like you're going to be pitching a bunch of stuff. Like, draw is always, like, we've said it a bajillion times, like how important draw is.
Yep.
So, and who isn't casting things from anywhere other than their hand?
Or whom.
Or whom?
The
So, it's
the next one is right on brand with the kind of tricks you want to play in Lazav.
It's a tricksy.
Hunted Horror. It's a horror on theme. It's black for a 7/7 trample. When it comes into play, put 2/3/3 green centaur creatures with protection from black into play under target opponent's control. But it never comes into play. Lazav becomes it, so there's no downside to it. It's just pay
7/7.
It's just a 7/7.
pay 2
for
mana
trample.
and become a 2/2 or a 7/7 trampler.
Gross.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Was that the exact thought?
Yeah.
look, I'm just looking at Zach's face, and he's like, "Uh-huh."
He's like,
It
I'm going to
is-
bring this in. and
It
it'll be
is
like,
a 7/7 trampler for 2.
The
Mhm.
horror.
Well, like, your
Oh,
opponent should be like, yes,
no.
I get 2 centaurs.
Well,
Mm-mm.
reliably, if that's the top card in your deck when you surveil, you pitch it to the graveyard. No one thinks anything of it because they're like, oh, yeah, well, whatever. He just didn't want that card up top. Zach, turn 2, swings at me with Lazav, and I say, yeah, I'll take that. And then bonk. 7 commander damage trample.
Get
The-
murdered.
So I wanted to try to stay on theme as much as possible with this deck, but the Hunted cycle is very good in Lazav. There's only like one other creature you can play. It's a blue one, but it's the same thing. Super low cost and high attack, high defense. So there's a bunch of different ways you can build this.
Yeah, and then we got Hunted Nightmare, 1 black. Creature Nightmare with Manache.
Manache.
And when Hunted Nightmare enters the battlefield, target opponent puts a death touch counter on a creature you control, and it is a 4/5.
But it never enters the battlefield.
Yeah, they never actually get it, so they
So
just
it's
get
4/5
bonked by a
for 3
4/5.
with a Manache.
Psych!
Leveler's a cool card as well.
Daniel knows this one. I'll team
Yeah,
up.
because it's a 10/10 for 5.
10/10 for 5.
That
but-
you don't have to remove your library.
Yeah, the downside is when it enters, you lose your library, so it's a very combo-centric piece, but the combo is just bonk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
combo's
combo
just
is
to
the
connect.
combo is take 10 commander damage.
Yeah. Get wrecked.
Nice.
Zach, you go on with the next one here with this Mind Shrieker.
Okay, so Mindstreaker is 1 and a blue. It's a spirit bird for 1/1. It has flying. You can pay 2. Target player puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Mindstreaker gets +X/+X until on turn where X is that card's CMC. So this is just good. It literally can hit anyone. So you can even target yourself. If you want to surveil and you see that it's going to be a big card, you can easily not only pitch the card so you know what Lazav is going to become, but also you get the added, buff to the creature. This is also another card that is based from one of the forms that it takes. He becomes a giant bird and tries to kill one of the kids. So
Terrifying.
A really nice thing about it, too, is it gives you that top deck control. So if somebody's tutored up an answer for something you're playing, I tutor up Urborg or something. Or not Urborg, Bajukabog.
Bahuka.
Bahukabog.
When did he become the bird? I'm trying to remember.
So this is when Mike is he's like basically exploring the ruins of the factory that ends up exploding,
Oh, gotcha.
and he's attacked by it. And this is when he's a child too.
I guess I need to rewatch the movies.
Yeah,
This is more from the book.
Oh, gotcha.
more
Okay.
detail.
So next one's an oldie but a goodie. Mist Cloaked Herald costs 1 blue, and it cannot be blocked.
Pay 1 mana, can't be blocked, and then you switch it to whatever you want.
Yeah, get in with that. Oh yeah.
Then we
Now
got
I'm thinking about it again.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Now we've got a sweet, sweet pet card. That's
Ooh.
what this is. Am I right, Zach, or am I right?
You're right, but it's also like
It's also good. I'm just telling you. But
It is a clown-looking thing.
So, what is it, Zach?
Nighthawk Scavenger, 1 black for
Wrong.
Vampire Rogue.
Vampire Goyfhawk,
Yeah,
you mean?
right.
Nighthawk
It's,
Scavenger. Yo, that's a.
The Tarmopire?
I'm just gonna be real. That's the worst thing that's ever happened is that we kept calling it Goyfhawk. Because now when somebody asks me for if we have Nighthawk Scavengers, I'm like, the hell is that?
What is that?
What card? I don't think that card exists.
I forgot that was the name of it until I just saw it
I
right
know,
now.
same. Because I exclusively call it
I'm
Goyfhawk.
convinced that that's the real name of the card.
So, yeah, this is an alternate reality, doggy.
Wizards, rename.
Flying Death Touch Lifelink, 1/3 for 3. Its power is equal to 1 plus the number of card types among cards in your opponent's graveyard.
How many different card types are there?
There's like 14.
Are there?
Yeah,
Land,
because tribal is a
instance.
card type. So there's
So
instant.
there can be a buttload.
Land
Is what
instant,
you're
I
sorcery,
could definitely be wrong with that.
creature,
Enchantment.
enchantment,
I thought it was just a super types.
artifact.
No, all types.
I got 6.
I don't know. Well,
Tribal is its own kind. Like tribal sorcery
Oh,
is
yeah.
not a sorcery.
Planeswalker.
Oh yeah, Planeswalker. So 7,
Duh.
8. So next up we have Nightveil Predator, 2 blue, 2 black, creature, vampire, flying, death touch, hexproof.
Solid.
That's a nice card.
It's
Yeah.
an interesting vampire color.
Black.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
not for Ravnica.
Well, it's interesting
It's from
to
Guilds
me.
of Ravnica.
It's interesting to me.
Okay, well, the reason that's not that interesting is because one, there's vampires in Ravnica, but also in Demir, the original leader of the House Demir was a vampire.
Oh, I'm hope I read the books.
Oh my God.
So going back to some of the themes in the deck, Mistcloak Herald, it becomes creature from the Black Lagoon at one point in time. So we don't really have much of that. So I put in some Merfolk and a couple other creatures we'll see later on that fit that. And he also becomes Dracula in the book. So Nighthawk Scavenger and Nightveil Predator are my substitutes for Dracula because we don't have.
He seems like he's doing a lot.
He does. It's a lot of fears. Lots of fears.
I haven't seen a shark yet, so I'm happy.
He does become Jaws.
What?
Yes.
We should watch the movie. Hope.
No. No, I'm good. I think I will take a hard pass on
cut
that.
the stream.
Yeah. Sorry,
So-
guys. We're done. Episode over.
Hope.
We're out. Yeah.
So,
Camera goes all grainy.
so the next card is not only a pet card, but another call out to the book. It becomes a leper, and there's not a lot of like
Oh,
lepers.
yes.
So this fits, I think, pretty well. It's Phyrexian Obliterator, 4 black for a creature horror. It's a 5/5 trample. Whenever a source deals damage to Phyrexian Obliterator, that source's controller sacrifices that many permanents.
Gross.
The best blocker in the game.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's pretty gnarly.
I'll swing you for 20. Let me block it.
Sounds good. Thanks.
A 4-mana block it and my whole board's gone. But it's not
Nope.
Eldrazi, guys. It's okay.
Yeah. It's not an annihilator.
I love that
Keeping
card.
up-
It's so solid.
Yeah, I opened this back in the day, and I was just like, this card is insane, and it's still good. We still don't have many effects like this, so it's still unique.
We should
keeping up
not
with-
have many effects like it. It's real good.
We should have like a lot more. I love it.
Although in a normal deck, 4 black is a pretty hefty price
Unless it's
unless you're
mono
playing
black.
mono black. Yeah.
Mhm.
So next
Um,
up. Oh, sorry.
Keeping up with the leper theme, this is another creature that I feel fits that. So go ahead.
Yeah, Rotting Regisaurus, 2 and a black, zombie dinosaur. At the beginning of your upkeep, discard a card. 7/6.
Yeah, and again,
So-
you're not really being punished with the discard here.
Yeah, you can either play it early game and benefit, or just
Well,
have a
again, a
7/6.
turn 2 Lazav and then into this turn 3 from the grave is bunkers.
Yeah, it's starting to set you up just to keep
Bonkers.
discarding
Well-
cards to make bigger creatures. Because if you get one of those creatures in your hand, right, you need to have an outlet
Yep.
to get it to where you want them to be.
Well, the other thing too is that 7 commander damage on turn 3 is
Oof.
a real big start to the game.
Yeah. Two
That's a
more
clock.
and you're dead. Yeah. Get clonked.
I'm not the wisest guy, but it's not very far from 21.
I'm not smart, but I can do math.
I can barely do math, but that number,
I know how to roll up a
Three
d20, that's for
turns?
sure.
yeah, puts a real clock on Lazav, especially when he's just turning it into unblockable.
Is the next card also a themey book thing?
Yes, it very much is. Everything takes place in the sewers of Derry, typically, and this is just kind of a, call to
reference to that. So it's Sumer and Nemesis, one of my pet cards. So it is 3 in a black. It's a horror as well. And when it enters the battlefield, choose a player. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in chosen player's graveyard. Whenever a chosen player casts a spell, that player puts a top card of their library into their graveyard. Do you just cast this?
You can do either. So you can either cast it or,
because it has to enter the battlefield, right? So
I typically see this as being cast more than not because
Yeah.
even with stuff like Consuming Aberration, this is still a really solid card. And like this is a more thematic deck. It still will work, I think, pretty well. But I just could not play Seer Nemesis.
I totally agree. I also think like it is nice for you to have like if you were to choose yourself, because your graveyard is going to be quite large, and then you get to self-mill. Like that's what I always do with him is I always choose myself.
And something to keep in mind, we haven't got to some of this stuff yet, but playing any one of these creatures as like a normal one, probably aside from Leveler, is still going to be fine because there are some tricks. There are some tricks that we'll get to that these cards like can still just do massive damage for like no reason. It's kind of silly.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. The next one is another unblockable one. That's
Snake Blade.
That's a 1-drop. Again, it's 1 blue for a 1/2. Slither Blade can't be blocked. So again, you hit that one, get the unblockable, and come in hard. Also, it's a snake. I don't know if snakes are a thing but that's but it's all whether or not it's a thing in the book, it's in the movie or whatever. I just feel like people are scared of snakes.
He could have threw crabs in there. That would be on theme too. For the last movie. This next one is a thing of horrors. Squelching Leeches.
Ew.
2 black creature leech. Squelching Leeches power and toughness are equal to the number of swamps you control. That can be strong.
Yeah, well, especially because you have Urborg in this deck.
True.
Borg.
Swimmer in Nightmares. Oh, go ahead, Zach. You talk about your Squelching Leeches.
So like Hope said, we do have Urborg, and as Dan has told me many times, I have 36 lands in this deck, so potentially
whatever. Daniel's triggered. Whatever. Nobody cares.
The Squelching Leech could be very large, but also like it also fits theme for another form that
Pennywise
takes at one point in time. Technically, they are flying leeches, but this is the closest thing we could get.
Ew. Yo, there's a reason I have not partaken in like...
It's Halloween.
No, I don't like to be afraid. The furthest that I'll go for Halloween is Rocky Horror, and that ain't scary.
Flying leeches are now Hope's number 1 fear.
Yeah, I didn't know, but I learned today.
I'm sorry.
Back onto the list, we have a Nightmare Merfolk, Swimmer in Nightmares. It gets +3/+0 as long as there's 10 or more cards in a single graveyard, which should be very easy to hit. So it would be a 3/4 then. It can't be blocked as long as you control an Ashiok Planeswalker.
That's why you
have
them in there.
Yeah, this also fits like the whole Creature from the Black Lagoon thing. This was another like, all right, this card is playable for what we're doing. And like Ashiok is pretty cool. I like playing Ashiok, so it just kind of it fits thematically and is a decent creature.
I like this list of creatures you have here. Just looking through it. Thief of Sanity is the next one on the list. 1 in Dimir for a Spectre. 2/2 flyer. When it deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 3 cards of their library. Exile one of them face down, then put the rest in your graveyard. For as long as the card remains exiled, you can look at it, cast it, and you can spend mana as if it were any color.
That's pretty sweet. Because whenever it deals combat damage, not like when it enters, not like whatever, it's whenever it deals combat damage. And if you're using this and you're making your boy unblockable or whatever.
Well, and flying's good invasion as well to get in.
Yeah.
Even if you're not trying to hit with that, I have no flyers. You turn it into that before your turn, swing at me with a flyer, and then turn it into a leveler.
And it's basically a spooky, scary ghost. So,
Flying? Yeah, flying is like the bane of my existence. I'll be honest.
I love flying. It's so simple. It's like the most simple way to just bonk people right in the face. Like it's such an obvious mechanic.
When I first started playing, this next card was one of the cards that I would always go to.
Vampire Dogs?
Yeah, the Vampire Hounds. So it's 2 and a black, and choose and discard a creature card. Vampire Hounds goes +2/+2 until end of turn.
Good boys.
Yeah, they
It
protect.
serves so many purposes. Like thematically, he becomes a dog, and it's very scary.
Cujo.
Yes. You're able to discard, a good discard outlet, and it just gets bigger. It doesn't say, like a lot of the old ones, you can only do this once per turn or whatever, or at sorcery speed. This one doesn't say any of that, so you just can keep pitching until you get what you want.
Yeah, no, that one's great. Especially, it helps you get rid of any creatures that you say have in your hand that you want to get rid of. So you can then make Lazav one of them.
Oh, we have another themey but pet card. Hey. We have Zach's favorite card.
It's Vampire minus. Minus the goif.
How dare you? How dare you, sir? It's a Vampire Nighthawk. It's 1 black for a Vampire Shaman, 2/3 with flying, death touch, and lifelink. From my
card
experience,
slaps.
yes, from my experience with playing Lazav, I've played a version of this deck that was much more tuned. And man, when people saw it in my play group, got used to it, I was getting bonked very, very hard. So these redundancies of lifelink are super important. Even if you're just like only 2 this turn, or maybe more with the other Vampire Nighthawk.
A death touch blocker is also very strong.
No one wants to swing into that.
Yeah.
And it's a 2/3. Like that's a good body, honestly, for a death touch creature.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Normally, death touch creatures, you get 1/1s, or you get 1 somethings. So
Uno 3s.
A really nice. Oh, sorry, I skipped 2 down, but I'm still going to talk about it anyways. Really nice thing with Will o' the Wisp. It's one of the last cards on the creature list. It's 1 and a black for a 0/1 flyer, and it has 1 regenerate Will o' the Wisp. A really fun thing to know is that regenerate does not need to be activated when it's destroyed. It gives you a preemptive shield of destruction. So it's the next time this creature would be destroyed, remove all damage from it, tap it, remove it from combat.
I never knew that. I always thought it was you usually activate it when your creature goes to die.
So if Zach was doing, let's say I have a 15/15 out, right?
Yeah.
Zach wants to trade his Lazav with the Vampire Nighthawk. He could, if he had the mana up, if he had like
2 black.
mana?
well, he'd have to be able to trade it back and forth, so he'd need a bunch. But theoretically, he could put the regeneration shield on it first, turn it into what he wanted, so if it was destroyed, it would skip it and then go back. A lot of people just do not understand that regenerate works that way and think it has to be retroactive, but it acts as a shield, so...
Interesting. I learned something new today.
There's
More Star Swipe.
Knowledge is power.
This is also another callback to the book. These are the Deadlights. This is the closest thing I could find to it. It's another significant part of Pennywise's creature, and it's also it's good. It's super good.
I like that.
There are a couple different ways you can build this deck, and if you want to be more tuned and more aggressive, you can use Infect in this deck, and it's absolutely nuts because it works the same way. You can do what's it? It's the one artifact creature that you can pay a black, and that creature gains Infect until end of turn.
You piqued hopes and trust.
You did pique my interest. I'm over here Infect, you say? Tell me more, Zach.
That was
dirty to me.
More like put it in the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't on theme, so I didn't want to do it, but that was my old deck. It was Phyrexian Obliterator. Or not Phyrexian Obliterator, Phyrexian Dreadnought, the 13.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like that you didn't put the full infinite combo in here with it.
Well, it was just Infect. It's something adder or whatever that gets Infect, and you can swing through for 12 Infect and just kill someone.
Exactly. I'm already in.
She's now building this Lazav deck.
So she's kicking the microphone.
Yeah.
I'll send you that list, host.
Please, because that's what I need in my life. I love degenerate nonsense.
I'll send you the list for sure. So the last creature in our Nightmare Fuel section is Wharf Infiltrator. It's 1 black for a human horror. It's a 1/1 with Skulk. So this creature can't be blocked by a creature with greater power. Whenever Wharf Infiltrator deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. And whenever you discard a creature card, you may pay 2. If you do, put a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi Horror creature token onto the battlefield.
I like the artwork, but it just looks like the weirdest peeping Tom.
Well, that's Pennywise hiding in the drain.
Pennywise is the weirdest peeping Tom.
I guess you
You're
guys
not
are all
wrong.
right.
Would you like a balloon? They all float down here.
Yes, please.
I thought
Only
that
if
was the
it's Tim
close-
Curry, though. Oh.
Hey, Skarsgård did a good job. I mean, it's not Tim Curry, I'll give you that, but he still did a good job.
That's the new one?
Yeah.
I like the new one way more. Tim Curry was good, but I really like that.
There's something about Tim Curry that makes me like deeply uncomfortable.
Whoever the new actor was, he was
Yeah,
very
Skarsgård.
on it.
They're
Weird
out
guy.
of the original. Oh, what was it? Do you have Prince Albert in a can? If you do, you better let him out.
That's what I like. That's what I liked about Tim Curry was that he was much more like goofy, but it was so creepy that
He was like
goofy.
more
he
into
had-
the clown than
yeah.
the murderous thing that the clown is.
So
Go ahead, Zach.
let's quickly go over the tricks of the trade section because there's only 3 cards, and I kind of just want to explain why they're here.
Well,
So-
before we do that, I just wanted to blow through the fast ramp. Zach has a lot
Okay.
of the normal ramp: Signet, Burnish Heart, Commander, Sphere, Demir Signet, Expedition Map, Soul Ring, Solemn for the ETB. We have Talisman, Thran Dynamo, Wayfarer's Bauble. The Expedition Map, most likely, I haven't looked through Zach's enormous list of lands because it's big, but it's probably to go grab something like Urborg, or I haven't looked yet, but do you have a Rogue's Passage in here?
I have Rogue's Passage.
Yeah.
I have Shizu, Death's Storehouse.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got a lot of really cool things. Gearreich Sanctum or Sanitarium is another really good one. So yeah, you've got tons of really good ones to go grab. The Expedition Map's a great card in that theme of going to grab those big ones that you need. Now on to Tricks of the Trade.
Can Expedition Map? I thought it was basic land. Is
No,
it any land?
Yeah,
Oh, I've been
Yeah.
playing it all wrong.
that's the only reason Expedition. Brian's cracking Expedition Map for a planes.
Basically,
Oh,
yeah.
No wonder you were so furious with that box
Oh my
topper.
God, it's so funny.
I got a box and all I got was this Expedition Map. I don't need another planes.
Oh my God.
What is this, a junk
Brian.
evolving wilds for one?
Oh,
Oh my god.
Paying
Yeah.
3 mana for an Evolving Wilds.
Sack Expedition Map. Search your library for a land. Reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle.
You're so pretty.
So
I'm just a pretty face.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
people use this to fetch like Gaia's Cradle, Bazaar of Baghdad. Those
Not
kind.
Brian.
Not Brian. Not up in here.
Fine.
I'm just playing
Wait,
casual,
so I
guys.
can get guild gates with this?
Wait, hold on a dang second.
I'm not gonna let this isn't gonna be like
You're
that.
not living this down for a very
No.
long time.
Brian's crop rotation for basics as well. I didn't know.
Oh my god, dude.
10-foot discovery. Everyone's fetching strip mines. Brian's like, I thought it was 4/4.
I'm not playing green.
That's a first.
All right, give me the tricks of the trade here, Zach.
Yeah,
All
go
right,
to
the
a
first-
different topic.
The first one's Bad Moon. This is another purely thematic card. It's 1 in a black for an enchantment. Black creatures get +1/+1.
I love that card.
You need to
Pennywise.
get it altered for Tim Curry's face on the moon.
Exactly. At one point in time, Pennywise is on the moon. So his face anyways, and he talks
Why?
to people. Yeah.
Watch the movie, doggy.
He talks.
no.
He talks to all of them.
I refuse.
Maybe we'll watch it tonight.
No.
It's not even
It's
a creepy
really-
movie.
Don't care.
It has its moments.
It's really good. Like it really is. This
The
is
original I
another
really
amazing-
like.
This is another amazing card from M21 that I don't think it's enough praise. It's Demonic Embrace. It's 1 black for an enchantment aura. You enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+1 and has flying and is a demon in addition to its other type. But what we really care about is you may cast Demonic Embrace from your graveyard by paying 3 life and discarding a card in addition to paying its other costs.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
So again, that lifelink is important, but also the discard. That's just a bonus for you. That's not a downside.
I like this too.
Yeah.
This is
Um,
very nice.
And a card I play in a lot of my creature heavy decks in black is Filth. It's 3 in a black for an incarnation 2/2. It has Swamp Walk. As long as Filth is in your graveyard and you control swamp creatures, you control have Swamp Walk.
I'm gonna stop playing black.
Urborg's a good card.
I didn't even think about.
Urborg can go into every deck, Brian.
That is true.
Oh, that's funny.
It is.
I don't know how to take you sometimes, Brian. I just don't.
It's early. It's early. We gotta
It's
say
like,
at least
wow,
once every.
neat.
This is interesting. Zach has some things to bring creatures back.
Right? Who knew?
Not in this deck, surprisingly.
Yes, Lazav brings them back. You bring them to the graveyard.
Exactly. So let's talk about our tutors then.
They all
We're
float down
running.
here.
They do. We're running 4 tutors in this deck. The first one's Buried Alive. It's 2 and a black for a sorcery. You search your library for up to 3 creature cards, put them into your graveyard, then shuffle your library.
Nice.
Such a good card.
Nice.
Yeah.
Noise.
Essentially in this deck, you're getting 3 creature cards to play at any time.
Yeah.
Well, what? Like, I'd probably be going for the Eater of Worlds. Because that's a 4, 9?
Doggy, you got to go for Vampire Goyfhawk, always.
Yeah, Goyfhawk.
Well, that 1.
Always tutor the Goyfhawk.
Yeah, because what? You always want to get that 6 life. Or
I'd probably go for Will o' the Wisp, to be honest. Then it just turns into a 2-mana save Lazav whenever I need him.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless someone's trying to path to exile him, in which case I go for can't be the target of spells or ability one. If
I like that you're able to just rotate through, like, oh, I want to do this.
Well,
no.
We talk all the time about how cards in your graveyard are still they're a resource that you should be using, just like life, just like everything else, right? So this deck is just all about grabbing those tools from like a larger toolbox than you can have in your hand, right?
Yep.
Instead of having like 7 cards in hand to wonder like, what does Zach have for answers? He has a stack in his graveyard. And also, if you ever want to be very technical and annoying to your play group, no one is allowed to reorganize your graveyard.
Yeah. I had Bone Dancer in one of my other versions of this deck, and that was super important.
That's Bone
That,
Dancer.
like,
I don't think I've
buddy.
ever heard of that card before.
I want to read the errata version. Give me 1 second.
I got it up here, Zach.
Okay.
Whenever it attacks and isn't blocked, you can put the top creature of defending player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. If you do, Bone Dancer assigns no combat damage this turn.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's a very obscure rule that basically never matters, but you cannot reorganize the way your graveyard is.
And a lot of people rifle through and they change the order.
Yeah, or they are reanimating things with Muldrotha, and they're like, I'm going to put this on top and put this on top so they remember. No, cut that out. Put it back in order.
So the next one that we have is...
On this episode, be a stickler and annoy your group.
That's
I
the
actually
title
did
right
have
there.
somebody call me on that one. So just like, oh yeah. So and I was like, no. We're playing at a kitchen table. You can suck it.
This is a cool place, man. It's like, hey, I just appreciate if you didn't. Well, leave.
I'd appreciate a lot of things.
Listen, man, life's crazy.
I don't know. It's 2020, man. Like,
Just start breaking the rules, and that's your answer to it. You drew 3 cards. Listen, man, life's rough. It's not always fair.
Have you looked outside?
That's not always fair.
We'll just play cheat magic. You can just play whatever you want as long as you could justify it. Play Emrakul the Onstorn. It's banned. Yeah, but
It's 2020.
you know, it's a wild day.
I'm really going through it.
So we have Corpse Connoisseur, which is 4 to black. And when Corpse Connoisseur enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card and put that card into your graveyard. If you do, shuffle your library. And it has Unearth for the same mana cost, 3 to black. And it is a 3/3 zombie wizard.
True.
Mm-hmm.
It's got weird artwork. I like it.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
weird and gross.
It's like he walked into his pantry. He's like,
What do I want to
He
eat?
has the same face that I have when I'm looking for chips.
That's accurate. That is accurate.
Which bag today?
Yeah. This is one of the creatures we're wanting to cast. This one is not one that we're wanting Lazav to become a copy of.
No, definitely not. So the next one that we have is the first instant of the tutors, and so it's Entomb. So it's 1 black. Search your library for a card, put that card into your graveyard, shuffle.
Yeah, and Tombe is a great card.
Oh.
Watch it break Hope's brain.
That was very bothersome.
The ability to go grab a card. This is Entomb's good in any deck that is doing graveyardy shenanigans. But on top of that, the ability to go fetch an answer that you need at instant speed is pretty bad, because if I don't think that he has a way to actually get through and kill me with commander damage, and then he suddenly goes and grabs whatever nonsense.
Yeah, that's true.
Or again, the same thing. He grabs one of his protection answers when I finally have the removal for Lazav.
Yeah, which is
And
even worse.
And something that is often overlooked with this card too is it's any card. So if you're like, if you need to do something with flashback, you can entomb a flashback card and
I have only ever seen it used for, what's it called? I only ever
Like
see it used for for creatures.
Mhm.
I
But
didn't
it is-
even know you could grab any card with it.
That's why I said
That's-
to grab
it's
a
a-
card.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's
Fetch
fun.
deck, more salvage.
Yeah, you could do that. I've seen
Get
people
Rog.
entomb.
Get Rognanigans.
I've seen
In a
I've seen people
mono-black deck.
entomb,
Blue black.
specific lands for world shapers that ends up being problematic.
Yep.
Like a world shaper's about to die, and you just entomb a land.
All return once you've ripened. Ghoul Caller Gissa.
Ew.
Very gross.
Final Parting is the last one in the tutors. It's 3 black. Search your library for 2 cards. Again, cards, not creatures. Put one into your hand and the other into your graveyard, then shuffle.
That's pretty tight.
Very solid tutor.
I like.
Want to jump over to removal?
Yeah, we'll do the removal here. The best,
Uh,
one of the best cards printed this year, Feed the Swarm. I just absolutely cannot get over how good of a card that is. Everyone keeps complaining that, they're sharing the color pie too much. Well, black needs an answer. You can't just have it be like, well, if they have enchantments, too bad.
That sucks.
That's basically the current answer for needing removal in black is hope you also have white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope your other opponents will help you.
Yeah, exactly. Politics better. We're all playing black. Destroy target creature or enchantment opponent controls. You lose life equal to its CMC. But just a very good card. If they had made it instant, crazy. So sorcery was the right speed for it. No matter how
that would have been.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
If they would have shifted that to rare and it made it an instant, I would have lost my mind in a good way.
Yep. Go ahead, Zach.
I was going to read that if you didn't care. One of my favorite cards to run in decks like this, it's Forbid. It's 1 blue for an instant. You counter target spell and it has buyback. You choose and discard 2 cards to get this card back after you've cast it.
Yo, buyback is so busted.
Love it.
It's ridiculous.
The most fair mechanic.
Most fair mechanic ever printed. That's accurate, yeah. So the next one's Heartless Act. It's also relatively new. So choose 1 destroy target creature, no counters on it, or remove up to 3 counters from target creature, which is again pretty sweet. 2 mana on an instant. Bam, bam, bam.
Read the flavor text. It's brutal.
Is it? It's them or us, General Kudrow. Jesus.
As he's executing one of the big old beasts.
Sad.
Yep. I don't like that art.
Yeah, it's very sadness.
Yeah, I mean, this could be switched out for, Doomblade or go for the
something
throw.
that doesn't break your heart.
I felt like thematically it kind of worked.
I like it. I think it's a really good piece.
It's just also devastating. Things could be 2 things.
Remove up to 3 counters from target creature. Yeah, that's very solid. I like that a lot. Full art negate. Love it.
Negate just counter target spell or counter target non-creature spell?
Non-creature. I like running negate over counter spell. The double blue sometimes is problematic. And most of the time if I'm wanting to negate, if I'm wanting to counter stuff, it's normally non-creature spells anyways.
That's fair. Yeah, it's not super often that creatures are the big problem in a game.
But if you are looking to counter anything, Sinister Sabotage. Sorry. What?
I like how you started off with that, and you're like, I went too hard with this, and I have to reel it back. I got to reel it back in. How do I save this one?
So it's 1 and 2 blue counter target spell, but it has Surveil 1, which again, as we already mentioned, Surveil is pretty sweet in this deck. And then finally, the card that now everybody owns.
Yeah, one of the best board wipes in Magic, I think.
Toxic Deluge, whatever. We all call it something slightly different.
Toxic Luge.
Deluge. So it's 2 and a black for sorcery as an additional cost to cast a spell. Pay X life. All creatures get minus XX till the end of turn.
Very hard to get around that one.
Which is some yeet.
I pay 40
So
life.
this is another. It's really good. Like, obviously, but I also felt like it fit the theme pretty well because they talk about gray water a lot with being in the sewer, and this felt very gray water-esque.
Yeah, no, I agree. This does seem like it's very on theme, very much like of what the point of what you're doing.
What you know
yeah,
of the
Yeah, well, I know enough.
Well, and then we have.
If you don't know what gray water is, please Google it and then tweet at me. Let me know what you think.
I'm not Googling that.
Google it.
The next section we have is draw. Zach, walk us through the first one here. Ancient Excavation, obviously on theme for you.
It's 2 blue, black. Instant draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand, then discard a card for each card drawn this way. And then have basic land cycling for 2.
So you end up drawing those cards first, and then you can discard whatever, like, or do you just discard your hand?
Yeah, so you draw. So if I have 7 cards,
Draw 7.
And then I just discard cards
okay.
for. I draw.
So it's not
I discard
retroactive.
7 cards.
It's not bad. I
like it.
do you know what? I always need more card draw. I'll be honest. Like
Never have too much card draw.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
but I run not enough.
It's really nice in this deck because I don't ever see this being a bad card to play at any point in the game. But also the basic land cycling is nice, but it's instant speed. And with this deck, we want to see a lot of our deck in the graveyard because we want to be able to pick and choose when Lazav is doing Lazav things. So being able to potentially draw 7 and pitch 7 is really powerful.
Yeah, 7 answers to the grave. Like we've said, it's the toolbox, right? So you have another spot to use it from.
Yeah. And then the next one we have Chart a Course, which is 1 and a blue. It's a sorcery. And you draw 2 cards, then discard a card unless you attack with a creature this turn.
Easy. Good in both situations for us.
Yep.
Compulsive Research. 2 and a blue, target player draws 3 cards, and that player discards 2 unless they pitch a land. So again, you can pitch answers if you want, or you can throw one of your 44 lands out.
Ignorant.
You run so many lands, Zach.
I will talk about it next. Don't worry.
All right, and now we have black draw. So 3 and 1 black. For an instant, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand and the other into the graveyard, and then Dark Bargain deals 2 damage. But like, who cares?
Solid. Draw 4,
Yeah.
lose 2 for 4.
No, draw 3.
Oh, look at the top 3. Sorry, draw 3.
Yeah, draw 2, pitch 1.
Yeah, but in
Kind of
this deck,
draw
you're
3.
draw 3.
Yeah. But it's okay that you can't count.
Math and reading are hard.
Yeah.
They're not my strong suits. But what is?
The next one is Notion Rain, which again is I really like it. It's very much on brand for this deck. It's 1 and Dimir colors. For sorcery, surveil 2, then draw 2, and it deals 2 damage to you, which is just dope.
Basically draw 4.
Yeah. Then opt, because opt.
Mm-hmm.
Phyrexian Arena, which again, solid for one.
Just one of the easiest things to slot into black decks for a good draw. It's had a consistently high price tag for so long just because of how powerful it is. People don't pack enchantment removal in. And even if they do, they're not often going to target it at something that's just drawing you a card.
And losing
and
any life.
dealing damage.
Yeah, so it's really easy to just convince people that it's not worth the target, even though we're in Commander. You're not going to drain yourself out with this. Like 10 turns of this still doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Then we got Ransack the Lab. 1 and a black. Sorcery, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard.
So again, basically draw 3.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Next we have Read the Bones, which is 2 and a black for sorcery, scry 2, then draw 2, you lose 2 life. So again, if you want the cards in your hand, in your hand. If you want that, if you don't,
hopefully the bones treat me well.
Gone.
Yeah, and then the final draw card here is Thirst for Knowledge. Draw 3 cards.
Knowledge.
Then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card.
Nice.
Again, no real downside to it.
No,
Nothing too crazy here.
I have to say, like, every time we look at this, or like Zach brews up one of these decks, and like I just take a quick glance through them, and I'm just like, yeah, this is all right. But then once we start talking about it and we see like how it actually works and everything, I'm blown away, and I want to build these decks.
That's awesome.
You build some very cool decks, Zach.
You definitely do. And you build differently than us, which is nice. I think that's one of the best things about having you outside of our meta. You know?
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Got you, fam.
Now we're going to talk about some lands because there are some I do want to talk about. First one is Cephalid. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's funny.
That's just a joke. That's just a joke.
Do we have another 36 minutes?
Zach's land list looks like a CVS receipt.
That's a joke.
Anyways, Coliseum. Jesus. Tap, you can add one blue mana to your mana pool. It deals 1 damage to you. It's in here for Threshold. It's blue and sacrifice stuff like Coliseum. You guys got me flustered.
I know. He's so embarrassed. Oh my god, guys.
Target player draws 3 cards and discards 3 cards from his or her hand.
Dope.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Solid.
I like that.
Yeah. We talked about Gyreach Sanitarium. It's a legendary land. You can tap it to add a colorless. 2 tap. Each player draws a card, then discards a card. Rogue's Passage.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Rogue's Passage, which just kind of goes in any deck that's trying to sneak commander damage through. Tap it for a colorless, or 4 and tap it. Target creature can't be blocked this turn.
Well, and same can be said for Shizo Death Storehouse, because for a black and a tap, target creature legendary creature gains fear. And literally,
Fear's such a good mechanic.
Fear's such a good mechanic.
Not only on theme, but just actually a good mechanic.
Yeah,
I
but
need to get more of those.
deeply on theme, and I'm really into that. So, were there any other notable lands that you wanted to talk about, Zach?
Just the best land ever printed.
Urborg?
Urborg to Yawgmoth.
Yo,
Legendary
Urborg
land.
slaps.
Yeah, like looking through the list and stuff. Like you've got lots of good colors. Like you have 10 islands, 42 swamps. You have 1. No. Back to your Urborg. Yes, each land is a swamp in addition to its other types. I love the fact that you can run it in any deck.
Yeah. Urborg.
It does not have a black mana symbol on it. That
just like Yawgmoth would want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also it turns into a swamp, so it is tappable. I see a lot of people not tapping it itself.
And it's like
Yeah.
every land.
All lands.
Buckos.
Yawgmoth's corpse is a wound in the universe. His foul
Wow.
blood seeps out, infecting the land with his final curse, Lord Windgrace.
Like, stop.
That's just rude.
That's just some nasty
Heavy metal.
lore.
Mhm.
Oh, I love them.
So
Crazy.
as Dan has joked about a billion times now, I am running 36 lands, and we're running
How many?
11 ramp.
Which is like
36.
not, it's not ridiculous. It's not like it's 42.
So a lot of the lands that I try to run are going to be lands that are going to either give us some kind of good utility or double up on mana. Same thing for our ramp, so that we get Lazav out as soon as possible and be able to shapeshift him literally whenever we want. So the more mana we have, the more likelihood of being able to just
Yeah, you want
bonk
to get
someone.
him out early.
Yeah.
and be able to switch in between, damage steps and declared attackers, declared blockers, all that stuff. Like we want to be able to be as tricksy as possible, as often as possible. More mana means we're going to be able to do that.
Yeah,
Mo-
and like
Mo mana, mo problems. Am I right?
for everyone else, yeah. Because like I could see like, first off, before you even go into swings, if
just
say
can't
people have blockers up, turn it into an unblockable, and then swing in, and then I'm gonna switch it up to 10.
Slap.
Yeah, then
Slap.
pay 4 and bring in
Bonk.
that 9/6 or whatever it was.
Slap.
I really want to get a bunch of like foil tokens made up that just say bonk, and I want to throw them at people like Ninja Stars all the time.
You're gonna get banned from our LGS. That's just we're just
Hey,
gonna...
hope I'll attack you. Why is that? 'Cause bonk!
Ah.
Ha! Don't.
Oh, my eye!
Yeah, like I said, you finna get banned, doggy.
Go back home and get like a slice across your cheek.
What happened? Slinging spells.
I got war wounds.
Slanging some magic.
Yeah, exactly. Slang and cards, hope.
Slanging them.
So yeah, that's our spooky deck.
I think it's pretty
That's
neat.
my
I think
spooky deck.
it's pretty spooky scary.
I really like it.
Halloween theme is good. Zach is like that. The whole point of Zach's first heroic intervention articles was because he really likes thematic decks, and I think, like Brian alluded to earlier, that you just do a really good job brewing these like very on theme, weird, out of the box decks that aren't just like, oh, I made like goat tribal.
Yeah,
Right?
they're not like weird for the
Benson.
sake of being weird. They're just like they're interesting and out
They're
of the
playable
box.
theme.
They're on theme, but they're different, and I like that.
When he said that he was going to make like the it deck, I was like, at first I was like, does it not have like five
Kids?
just like 5 cards that represent the kids, and then everything else is like the horrors that they face,
Yeah,
or
but
something
this is
along
more,
those lines.
This is just more of like an overarching theme, you know,
Mhm.
of like
The
fear itself.
opponents.
Because really, like, is it not really just like about fear itself?
It
So like
feeds on the fear.
that's really what this deck is. It's about scaredy things.
The opponents are the kids.
Even Urborg.
The childlike
Scared.
wonder is in Zach's eyes when he bunks.
Yeah, that he's the child. So he's Pennywise.
Aren't we all?
Oh my god.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope, where can they find our stuff?
You can find us on intothE99.com, of course, first and foremost, as well. Our podcast comes out every Sunday at noon Mountain Standard Time. We also stream every Tuesday now. Stream day has changed. Tuesday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. As well, check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Into the 99. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys.
Oh, and Patreon.
Yes.
I'm crushing it, guys. All right, that's also a thing we have. Check it out. Feel free if you'd like to support us. That's the best way to do it. Thanks, guys.
And shout out to our sponsors, Edge Gaming. If you want to pick up any cool stuff, Edge Gaming on Etsy.
Bye.
Peace.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Should have outroed spooky, scary skeletons.
You should have.